We have expanded our product palette, and I'll come into that, but this idea about having a multi-product bank where you can cater for the needs of your clients obviously will be important. We came from the other end, so to speak. We came from the world of capital markets, but we've added more standard products as being able to pay bills, to have a credit card and so forth. But to have the full suite of products, we believe is very, very important. I think the way that this is developing also is not, you cannot wait and expect that there will be a strong demand for your clients and then develop it. You have to think of what you would like to see as an investor and then try to be a little bit ahead of the curve if possible. The typical example is that people didn't know they needed a computer until someone invented it. And I think that actually is very true for this business line as well. You really need to think ahead, because I think what's in the rear mirror, so to speak, is not necessarily where you'll find solutions for tomorrow's infrastructure. So competition right now is still not very hard, because right now it's not a very flexible market. There will be consolidation. We've seen that already, and clearly competition will be harder and harder as we go by. So we think that there's a game-changing thing going on right now, and I think the landscape for banks as we know them will change dramatically over the next 3 to 5 years. In Saxo Bank, we see ourselves as a facilitator. And what we mean with that is that we cannot be experts in everything. We know that for a fact. So what we can do, though, is we can facilitate and try to provide an infrastructure that will allow our clients to get access to the best possible product palette within the financial industry. And the way we've built this is obviously by the use of technology, but we've interfaced into 11 of the biggest banks in the world, where we get their products, prices, and liquidity, also to 35 exchanges, and these numbers are constantly growing. But what we know that we cannot be the best ones in the world in providing liquidity in all products. That's simply not possible. And if you look at the liquidity and the product space, you see massive consolidation, clearly as a result of the financial crisis, but also before that, there was a massive consolidation. You see exchanges merging, you're seeing the bigger banks getting bigger, and you need a lot of capital, a lot of trade flow to have an efficient business providing liquidity. So that's not our space, but we would want to work with the ones that are best in that particular space and take the best from the best. So we do that electronically. We try to package it. We do IT hosting, IT development. We do risk management, back office, provide content, charts, quotes, news, education, all sorts of things that we believe has relevance for the end user. And then we distribute it via the internet, either to a private individual or single client, or we work with other financial institutions that either use it themselves directly or white labeling clients. As an example of that, we actually just a few weeks ago we launched Barclays in the UK as a partner. They now use our infrastructure only for trading non-UK equities, and they had a lot of manual processes, which is very normal for these banks in doing that. So their benefit was to get an infrastructure in a matter of a few months that they could distribute to their clients. Our interest, of course, is to get access to their clients, get their branding, get their distribution power. So in that sense, we kind of share the value chain. The first week they onboarded 500 clients, which is definitely a good thing for us. But it's also a very successful situation for them, because right now they are in a much better competitive situation. They have no money tied into this. We just had their commitment, they had our commitment. And now actually the people trading UK equities in Barclays are saying, well, now we actually have a better product for trading foreign equities than UK equities. And clearly we hope to be able to transform that into UK equities, CFDs, futures, foreign exchange and so forth as well. But that's just to give you an example of how we work with white labeling clients to build distribution, and where we really go in and facilitate the giving out the full infrastructure. I mentioned the value chain, and I think the value chain is very, very, very important. In many big banks, traditionally you work in product silos, where you have fixed income, equities, foreign exchange, etc. And those are big businesses by any standards, and in the good years making billions of dollars in profit for the bank. But they don't have this multi-asset approach to things. And as their clients are typically institutional clients, they don't use technology that much either. I mean, clearly they do it, but in a very different way. So to have a multi-asset approach where you have a fully automated, straight-through processing value chain is actually very, very unique. And even people where you can deal online with them, they have a lot of manual processes in the back end that obviously produces errors, because whenever people touches it, it produces errors. It's expensive, it's not very scalable, so it will prevent you from really competing unless you have a very efficient infrastructure. And that clearly goes for any kind of customers, whether those are institutional or private. So we believe that having an efficient value chain, thinking of this as a value chain, is an essential component that is not always happening. Saxo Bank today. I'll come back and talk a little bit about our history, because we've made a lot of errors as well, and also made a lot of adjustments to our business. But today we are just around 1,000 people. We have 57 nationalities employed, with offices in 18 cities in the world. So we're pretty widely distributed as a bank, at least seen from any Scandinavian standards. Our main product is foreign exchange. We do around 170,000 trades a day. The average turnover is around 100 billion Danish. Actually, the latest BIS report showed that Saxo Bank had 65% of the market for Danish spot foreign exchange business, which is quite compelling, and we're obviously proud about that. But we actually do quite a bit of foreign exchange by any standards in Scandinavian. We have clients in around 190 countries. I'll come a little bit back to the trading platforms, but also doing business in that many places of the world. Of course, you have to service people in their local languages. So the platform now is translated into 24 languages, anything from Hebrew to Arabic, Chinese, Japanese, and so forth. So it's a pretty comprehensive offering.